here. Can your question or can I take it up a little bit now? You go ahead.
I'd like to ask the whole panel about their boggarts and what yours would be and what you think your characters would be.
All right, good question. Sometimes we got to dig deep on those. So, talking about some fears. Matthew, you want to field this one?
Why?
Because when I looked over you, you were like,
Matt doesn't know what
answer me.
I don't want to answer this.
Maybe we can kind of sum up and say what would your, I'd say just your first thing that comes to mind when you think of fear. What's the first thing that kind of scares you?
I think in terms of phobias, I don't have any of them except one. So I'm not afraid of snakes, rats, heights, any of that kind of stuff. But spiders are my ultimate, absolute crippling, petrifying phobia. I cannot function around spiders. I just scream and go to pieces.
All right.
Probably that.
Does that come into a distant second from being asked to answer a question first? That would be. All right. Want to take this one, Katie?
I've always feared old age. This is really grim, but I think looking at myself being, at an age where, I start losing my memory and who I am in my mind, and that would really scare me. And I think of it kind of more than I should. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're getting real now. Ivana?
I'm going to answer the easy part of the question, which would be my character's fear. I think Luna's would be, because I remember I had this problem on set once. We were in the Department of Mysteries, and everyone else is like flustered and upset and they're gonna die. And I was like, oh, Luna doesn't really fear death. Like, what is it? And I remember I talked to David Yates about it, and then later talked to Joe about it, and they both said she would fear her friends being hurt. Because she doesn't worry about other things like, she doesn't worry about being embarrassed or being shown up, but she really cares about her friends. I think that would be her fear. My fear? Oh, I don't know.
Well, I like the choice that you of course you put on the question. Everybody else answered differently. But think about like your characters as you just answered. So Bonnie, your character, what do you think her fear would be? It's a good question. It's tough.
Her fear, I guess obviously family is a huge part of her understanding of everything. So I guess fear of, she does lose one of her brothers, so that would probably be one of her fears. Maybe not being able to suddenly, having no Quidditch skills would be pretty scary. Suddenly getting on the broom and just not being able to play, that would be quite scary. Losing Harry obviously would be a pretty big fear.
That would be a big fear.
Yeah.
We don't want that country. No. Rupert.
It's spiders in the room. For me as well. I'm definitely terrified. I reduce to tears. It's the tiniest little spider.
And you've got a spider? Let's see what happens.
I don't even joke about that. I would have a panic attack. It's not very nice.
All right. Let's keep going. Who else is out there? Where is Chelsea? Do you have somebody with you there?
Yes, we've got Caitlin over here.
All right.
Right up.
Caitlin. Stephen, we're coming up to you next, sir.
All right, what's your question? She's got a question for the whole panel.
Okay.
What advice do you guys have for young, inspiring actors like me?
All right. Okay, that's a good question. So what advice would you, anybody can field this one, whoever wants to, what would you guys give some parting advice to up-and-coming actors or actresses? What was a lesson that you learned? Like, what was the main thing that kind of stuck with you going through the series of the films and growing?
I think just first of all, express yourself and know what you like. That was for me, what got me the job, my passion for it. It wasn't about being trained or being perfect or anything. It was just about really, really loving the character and making her more important than me, I think. Because sometimes I've done jobs since where I just would take them and maybe I haven't loved the character as much, and then I get in the way, the actor stuff. And I always try and find characters that I love so much that their struggle or their story is more important than my insecurities. So yeah, just kind of keep following your passion, I suppose.
Okay.
I would say to be brave. It sounds like the most obvious thing in the world, but it's a thing that I think a lot of actors can struggle with, and people in general. But the idea is that a lot of people out there can read a script and they can go and make it half believable, but it's the courage and the belief in your own ability to make choices, to do something interesting with it, and if you take a piece of material and you go off the wall with it and you do something wild and it doesn't work, so what? Like, at least you had that opportunity to try it. You don't want to regret. You don't want to, 5 years later go, oh, I wish I'd tried that. I wish I'd done that. Just do it, right? Because you're the only person who can critique yourself. So just have that bravery to just make a choice. And that's what I find interesting about actors and actresses on the screen, is when they don't stick to the mundane. They do something off the wall, and that's interesting to look at, it's interesting to watch, and I think it's just having that confidence to do that.
Great answer.
Yeah, I also think it's about perseverance and just because being an actor is quite difficult. I mean, for us, we started off doing something incredible, and so we had these expectations after it was over that we would continue to be successful as actors and etc. And I think a lot of it is hard work and perseverance, and also just being truthful to the character that you're going to be playing. And as Matt said, just it doesn't have to be interesting. Don't try to be interesting. Just be truthful, and the audience will fall in love with your character regardless. Just if you have conviction.
Great answer. Thank you, Katie. Bonnie?
Yeah, I was just going to add something. Obviously, the hardest thing is to get opportunity. So obviously, we were incredibly lucky with the opportunity we got. And I think before you even start going for big things or auditions, you have the friends that are around you, whether or not they're like-minded and they like films or they like storytelling. Everyone has an iPhone, everyone has friends. The experience that you can just create little films together and try things out and practice in a really small scale is still really important for your learning. So even if you just got friends together at school and read out your favourite plays or different things, just those things aren't as important as big auditions and grand films like these. You can still learn a lot from small scale things, projects.
Awesome. Thank you, Bonnie. Rupert?
I've learned so much
Just listening to these answers.
I couldn't really say any more, really. Just have fun as well. It's an amazing thing. What I always loved about it was I was always quite shy at school. Still am quite shy. It was always such an amazing escape and an amazing thing to be a different character. Stick at it. It's fun.
All right, great question. Very good. Yes, Stephen.
I have Megan from Tampa, and she has a question for Rupert.
All right.
I know in the movies and the books that the Weasley family was very generous, and I was wondering if you still have your ice cream truck, and what's the reason behind it?
The ice cream truck.
It's true. I have an ice cream truck. There's not really a reason to go. It's just I always wanted to be an ice cream man. Still kind of do. I think that's probably my true calling. What was the other part of my question?
Why?
Actually, I brought the van on the last day of filming, and me and Emma actually served ice creams to everyone. None of you were there.
They missed that.
Next time.
Missed out on snake parties and ice cream. Doggone it. Why did you choose to purchase that ice cream truck? I mean, out of all the things that you probably could have or wanted that were not necessarily available, but that you worked with as far as props are concerned, what kind of stuck out about the ice cream truck? Was it just that passion of wanting to serve ice cream?
Yeah, really. I mean, I just love the vans. They play a tune. They're just very nostalgic for me, actually. Which is the main. I don't really drive it anymore because it's a bit weird. We're just driving around ice cream.
Did you serve like members of the public?
Would I have? Yeah.
Do you need a license or can you just do it?
You do. It's very illegal.
Oh, is it illegal? Well, this is ice cream somewhere.
And ice cream men are very territorial as well.
Yeah.
That's their patch. It's quite serious. So,
Makes good.
All right, so there is.
That's a good idea.
All right, so dairy products, cool. Alright, let's go over to Josh. He's got a little wizard there with him who's going to ask a question.
I have Caden from Houston. He's got a question for the whole panel, and he is 9.
All right.
Who's the best at Quidditch and is it fun?
Who's the best at Quidditch and is it fun? I think Ron may have an opinion about that. Rupert?
I was very excited to play Quidditch. It was something I always wanted to do. And I always seen Dad doing it and Tom, and it looked really fun. The truth is, though, it's excruciatingly painful. Yeah, I don't miss it. You've been
It's pretty. I mean, it looks quite fun when you're up on there. It's basically, imagine a broomstick with kind of a seat, like a bicycle seat, up on like a craned arm, and you're sort of strapped into it, and it basically does a lot of the movement we're actually doing, and obviously it's shot on green or blue screen. But yeah, it's pretty. I remember once doing the first time I ever did it, I had to do a 360-degree spin, but you obviously have to keep your core like really strong, otherwise if you let go at one part, you're literally just hanging like upside down. Yeah, it's quite painful. I mean, you're pretty strapped in, and it's quite painful. You're like thrown around. I mean, it looks great. Obviously, we make it look great, but
I think it's done unrepairable damage. I'm pouring too much information.
Oh, that's a great question. All right, let's go back down to Jen.
Hello, I have Chris here, actually from DeLand, Florida. What's your question?
All right.
This question is for Ivana. Is there a particular scene in any of the movies where you felt like you really related to your character?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I always related to her. It was more than I was inspired by her though. And she kind of, when I would be in my Luna mode, I would feel really free and really just at peace and happy. And I wasn't, you know, the way sometimes when you especially on set, that was kind of stressful. And you would go and you'd feel like, or I often feel this, I feel like, I need to do something impressive and I feel out of place here. Whenever I was playing Luna, I just didn't feel that. I just felt I was fine because she is so out there, so weird that you just cannot think about fitting in. You just have to be fine. So, yeah, she just always gave me a sense of peace and relief. And I think I still do that whenever I get stressed or I feel nervous. I just kind of try and find that inside me. Call it the Luna spirit. But yeah, it was always so much fun.
Awesome. Great question.